Hello everyone, welcome to 2022 Mains Science and Tech and Environment questions. Okay, so some of the ones which we discussed in our class, so they were also there, and most of them were related to current affairs and they were related to the basic science, not so much a difficult question as you have thought. I have heard many people saying like there were so many bouncer questions, all those things. So I don't think so many bouncers were there. We'll discuss how to write those answers, how to tackle any kind of bouncers as such. The increase in life expectancy in the country has led to newer health challenges in the community. So, what are those challenges and what steps need to be taken to meet them? So, here, like yes, the life expectancy is being increasing. So, we were somewhere around 23 years during the time of independence, and now we are somewhere around some 47, 48 years. Okay. So, like in these life expectancy increasing, so we are giving so much of medicines and we are making sure that the elderly people, so they can survive all those health issues. So what are the challenges that are coming? So introduction, you can give the correct life expectancy of India, the introduction, and then so the challenges, heading challenges that are being faced. So one is like the old age issue. So elderly issues like old age care, old age health issues. So might be the mental health, loneliness, okay, abandonment. So all those things. Second one, non-communicable diseases, diabetes, blood pressure, and some of the aging diseases. So might be your Algiers syndrome, so Parkinson's syndrome, all those things. So they are related to mental health, but still, okay. So Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's syndrome, all of them. Okay. So all these are the health issues. And apart from these, we have been occurring some genetic disorders. So might be due to excess intake of medicines and all those. So we have genetic disorders like Down syndrome, or maybe Turner syndrome, or maybe Klinefelter syndrome, all those. So those are also like when we push life towards the extremity. So these genetic variations, so they can occur and they can happen. Okay. So we have thalassemia. Thalassemia is a famous genetic disorder in Delhi. So babies suffering from thalassemia, they cannot produce their red blood cells. So every 3 months they have to change. So this is like so small bache mar raha hai and we people we hesitate to donate blood. So nahi jaye. So why so much of consignment? So every person's blood should be replenished. When new blood comes, it will give a new lease of life to work, also to exercise, so anything for that matter. So I encourage all the youngsters to go and donate blood. So if all you are healthy and anyway unhealthy persons, even if you donate, they won't take it. Then apart from this, we have hemophilia. So Mr. Ratan Tata the Great is suffering from this disease, hemophilia. So all these genetic disorders which are common, so they are aggravating, accentuating because of the increase in life expectancy. Okay, then after that, so we have what are the steps that are taken to tackle them. So first, we deal with the mental health. So we have palliative cares. So that means we have counseling centers, we have chat boards, so that we will reduce the loneliness of the elderly people. Okay, so we have the NGOs, so many which are the Help Age India, Old Age India, and all those which are helping in all those mental issues and mental treatments. We have NIMANS and other institutes that are being developed to treat mental illness. Okay, the National Institute of Mental Health and Mental Health and Neurosciences. So NIMANS, and then we have the diabetes and other old age non-communicable diseases. So friends, these can be tackled only by the change of lifestyle. So we have Kelo India or physical activity that are being taken up, proper nutrition. So all those should be taken up so that the change of lifestyle. So that will help to tackle diabetes, blood pressure, and other the non-communicable diseases. And then we have obesity as one of the disease. So as and when we grow old, so obesity will accumulate, and obesity is being a problem even in the youngsters. So that is a different thing, but even in the elderly people, it is a disease. And as per the medicines increase, or maybe due to the cross effect or side effect of various medicines, cancers are also increasing. So for that, we have so many cancer treatment centers. We have so many therapies that we are being introducing for all of them. Okay, so there are so many schemes, there are so many institutes that are being set up. And lastly, in the conclusion, mention the National Health Mission and the National Health Policy 2017, which will say that so we will prevent the ill health rather than cure. So we are converting the primary health centers to the health and wellness centers. So here ASHAs, ANMs, so all these people, they go and spread awareness against diabetes, against blood pressure, against illness. So all of them. So when that happens, so it is like, so we are going to control them. Okay. So like community awareness, sensitization, all those things, rather than giving you the medicines. So rather than giving you the thyroxine medicines, they will teach you how to control the thyroid problem. So proper nutrition and dieting. You can bring in Poshan Abhiyan also. Food fortification is being done to control anemia and others. Okay, so all these we can mention here. Not so difficult a question. Okay, so if you think properly, what are the diseases and what needs to be cured? Okay, then from the next, every year or each year, a large amount of plant material, cellulose, is deposited on the surface of planet Earth. What are the natural processes this cellulose undergoes before yielding carbon dioxide, water, and other products? Actually speaking, it is a part of your carbon cycle. So what are cellulose? They are nothing but the carbohydrates or the carbon compounds. So how a big chain of carbon compound, so that will decay to give you the CO2 and H2O, carbon dioxide and water. So this process you will mention. So you can follow a flow chart. So as and when the dead leaves, they get deposited. So basically they will be decayed by the bacteria, they will be decayed by the microorganisms, earthworms and others. So slowly macro decay will happen first. The leaf and twigs will be broken down into small pieces, macro decay, and then starts the micro decay. Bacteria will come and they start breaking the chain of this carbon in every molecule. So this, the bigger chain of carbon, so that will be reduced to smaller chains. So that means ketones, amino acids, aldehydes, so all of them will be produced. So these are some 2 to 3 chains of carbon compounds, which are smaller ones. Okay. So protein is a bigger chain. Amino acid is a smaller chain. Okay. So meat, it takes time to digest. Egg will not take so much time because egg contains amino acids more. Meat contains protein. Likewise. So these smaller chains, so that will be reduced lastly to alcohol. So C2H5OH or CH3OH, anything. So ethyl alcohol and methyl alcohol will be done. So all these are nothing but fermentation. You take one leaf or you take one straw, that is the paddy straw, wheat straw, and dip it in water and give ambient temperature. So after some days, so it will become beer, it will become whiskey, wine, so all those things. So this will be decayed into alcohol. And now if you heat this, so heating of C2H5OH will be CO2 and H2O. Okay, so carbon dioxide and water will be given here. So this is how it is. Okay, so you mention these. So macro to micro and micro to alcohol, and heating of alcohol will give rise to this one. So the same happens with your gym. So when you go and work out, so much of alcohol will be produced in your muscle cells because it is anaerobic respiration, and your cells will be stored with alcohol. And now after that, your trainer will ask you to take steam bath. So once you take the steam bath, your muscles will be given with heat. So when heat is given to the muscles, so alcohol will break into carbon dioxide and water. So now your muscles will relax. So all these are scientific. So whatever that are being said, it is for the scientific procedure. Okay. So explain this, that is more than sufficient. And if possible, if you are from biology or if you are from BSc ecology, so make sure you will draw some equations on this and get the additional marks over there. Then discuss in detail the photochemical smog, emphasizing its formation, effects, and mitigation. So explain a 1999 Gutenberg protocol. So now it is like going practically. So Gutenberg protocol, so might be not many of you will be knowing, but however, photochemical smog you will be knowing. So we will explain what is the photochemical smog. Okay, so we have discussed many times in the class also. So for the authentication, I have brought my own PPTs. So this is how the photochemical smog will occur. So here, so a non-science background people, they can't write all these things and it is not required also. So just make sure how a photochemical smog is being made. A photochemical smog is being made when air, smoke, water vapor along with the PAN, peroxyacetyl nitrate. So all these happen. So what is the difference between fog, smog and a photochemical smog? So smoke and fog will form the smog, so that we all know. But difference between smog and photochemical. So this, the peroxyacetyl nitrate, so that will start pricking your eyes. You cannot open your eyes to that fog. And the fog color will be brownish in color. It will not be whitish. So in Delhi or in North India during winters, so you will feel the whitish smog. But the brownish smog which happened, so in UK, the greatest photochemical smog happened. So those are the photochemical smog. So people will suffer from burning sensitivity in the eyes. Okay. So here the nitrogen and volatile organic compounds. So any organic compound which is volatile. So your gas, LPG is a volatile. You leave it, it will evaporate, or maybe you spray the scent, it will evaporate. So almost all organic compounds, your alcohol is volatile, your petrol is volatile. You open the petrol tank of your bike and car, it will evaporate. So all these, they are volatile organic compounds. So that will react with nitrogen, nitrogen oxide, and in the presence of ultraviolet rays. So all of them, they mix together and they form the peroxyacetyl nitrate. So here, don't by heart this one. So peroxyacetyl nitrate. So acetyl, acetic acid group should be there, and peroxy, so hydrogen peroxide. So you take water and give excess of oxygen. So H2O is hydrogen, water this is, and add oxygen to this, H2O2. So this is hydrogen peroxide. So that means more oxygen to water. So here also infuse more oxygen, you will get peroxyacetyl. So add oxygen to water, sorry, acetic acid, you will get peroxyacetyl and nitrate. So this is peroxyacetic acid. So what is the formula of acetic acid? CH3COOH, and one more oxygen, CH3COOH, peroxyacetic acid, and NO2, peroxyacetyl nitrate. So when you break and study, you will not forget this. Else it is like every time you will start. So peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, everyone knows that you will be using them to clean your wounds, etc. So go to medical shop, ask hydrogen peroxide. They will give you one liquid, pour it on your wound. The foam starts coming up. So that is hydrogen peroxide. So once again, so acetic acid, CH3COOH, add one more oxygen. Okay, so peroxyacetic acid, remove this nitrogen and add NO2. So that is the peroxyacetyl nitrate. So this one is the main agent of the photochemical smog. So when this happens, you cannot open your eyes, and then the Gutenberg Convention came and they said we should avoid the volatile organic compounds and we should curb the ozone depletion so that ultraviolet rays will not come into the troposphere. So all these. So that Gutenberg Convention made sure that we will considerably reduce this photochemical smog, and most of the nations, they curbed the volatile organic compounds, and now we rarely see this. Okay. So we can say this is one of the successes of the Gutenberg protocol. Okay. So that much if you write. it is more than sufficient, and only that thing happened there. Okay. Then come to next. Explain the mechanisms and the occurrence of cloudburst in the context of Indian subcontinent. Discuss two recent examples. So here it is like, so we have so many cloudbursts last time during winters. So South India was hugely into the cloudburst from 7 to 8 days. Continuous rain was there, and after that, so there was huge destruction of agricultural crops and maybe huge denudations. All those things happened, and we will give examples and explain. So basically, cloudburst. So you can explain with diagram also within one area. So if there is intense rainfall, so we can say Kumbha Dronamade or Kumbha Drona Barish. So it is as if like, so we are taking a pot and pouring water on that area. So within small area, intense amount of rainfall, so that will lead to the cloud bursts. Okay. So this might be due to various reasons. So sudden occurring of monsoon can lead to cloud bursts, or might be retreating of monsoon can also lead to cloud bursts. So many reasons can be. So we can give those reasons also. So like most probably in India, cloud bursts will happen out of 3 to 4 reasons. First one, advent of monsoon. So this year, when the monsoon was advent, there were cloud bursts in Jaisalmer. So in the area of Drat, there was a cloud burst. So as and when the moist fill air, they move suddenly, and it is like if they made up to move up with convention and they start shedding the moisture, so it leads to rainfall or retreating. So mainly in September months, so retreating rainfall. So now in Bengaluru, huge rainfall is going on. So from last 1 week, and huge denudation because of retreating monsoon. So as and when the moisture laden wind comes back, so now due to orography, it will climb up a mountain. So even in the backward journey from North India to South India, it will climb up and it will shed. So again, it can lead to cloudbursts. Due to cyclones, there can be cloudbursts. So Mumbai cloudburst due to cyclones. Odisha can experience cloudburst due to cyclones. So all these can lead to cloudbursts. Okay. Sometimes in Himachal also cloudbursts can occur. Okay. So because of sudden heating and the upliftment of air, so many times, so they have happened. Okay. And then, so discuss two. So you can discuss any of them. Jaisalmer or I discuss Bengaluru. I discuss 2 to 3 for you. So any of them you can discuss. So not so difficult again. So a 10 mark question. So discussing two in one paragraph will be more than sufficient. And also make sure in the conclusion you give anything like how to control the cloud bursts. So overall the climate change. So we should stop the emission of greenhouse gases so that global warming will not be there. So intense heat highlands will not be created. So now most precipitation occurs in cities. Earlier we used to think like, so in village areas they are very good people. So more rain happens for them and cities are drought ridden. Now that is not the case. So excess rainfall happens in the cities and the villages which are badly needing the rainfall for growing crops. So they are not getting this because of those carbon heat island effect and greenhouse gas emission. So make sure that you will write them. So small contributions from our side. So those are very much required for having a predictable environment. Else environment becomes highly unpredictable. Then launched on 27 December 2021, James Webb Space Telescope has been much in use since then. So what are its unique features which make it superior to its predecessor, space telescopes? And what are the key goals of this mission? So what potential benefits does it hold for the human race? Okay. So it is a 15-mark question. Okay. So now friends, we know that Kepler telescope and others, so they died down, and after they died down, so we wanted some new telescope. In that wake, the James Webb Space Telescope was brought into picture. So now what are the advantages it has? You need not worry about minute specification it has, might be the distance of its vision or any other thing. So just say that it is more capable. It is more capable in terms of more distance vision. It can also catch some of the electromagnetic rays or might be some rays in the electromagnetic region, which the Kepler telescope couldn't catch it, or it can also search for some of the nebula where the stars are formed. So recently, James Webb telescope, so it came up with a photograph of a nebula where star is being formed. So those things Kepler didn't do, so it can do that. Okay. So some 3 to 4 points on these specifications. Okay. So just say that Kepler and other telescopes they died down, and we came up with the James Webb telescope. And now the specifications. So wider vision, a long range of vision of this telescope. And second one, huge spectrum capacity. So it can view the things in various electromagnetic spectrum, huge, or we can say huge bandwidth of its capacity, and longer life than Kepler. So might be it will stay in the universe or might be Earth's orbit for more than 25 years from now on. So that we will not change it again and again. Okay. So longer life and better communication facility. So it can commute or it can send the messages and data from Earth to satellite and back to Earth. So better relay and communication facilities. Some artificial intelligence so are being introduced so that it can learn where to take a photograph, where not to, all those things. Okay. So this is how like you will manage. So it is easy like we can type in Google and I can bring you the tabular column of all those, but that doesn't make any sense for you. Okay, so how to tackle science and tech? So this is how you can tackle there. Okay, then. So what are the key goals of this mission? So whatever we have in the future intent to explore this universe, so all those you can write it here. So goals. It is like exploration of exoplanets, so planets outside. So we can explore so just livable planets or planets which are in the Goldilocks zone. Goldilocks zone, we can explore what is a Goldilocks zone. Yes, Goldilocks zone. So a zone which is habitable for life. So if this is the sun, so this is the Goldilocks zone where Earth is present. Beyond this, life cannot be possible. It is too hot, and after this, it is too cold. So likewise, any planet which are in the Goldilocks zone of any star, we can identify. Second, we can explore more about the gravitational waves. Gravitational waves. So these are in use, and we can detect more of them, and then we can research more about the formation of black holes and origin of universe, and we can search for the birth of new stars. New stars. We can take the photograph of black hole. Okay. So recently, one black hole photograph was also taken. Okay. So like this. So there are so many goals or aims of this, and then what are the potential benefits for the human race? So when we study all these things, so what benefits human race will get for these? So one is like more knowledge, or might be more habitable zones. We can see like apart from Earth, we can send people to Mars, or maybe we can send people to outer solar system so that they can habitate there, or maybe we can get an idea of the time period how the universe was born, clarification about the Big Bang theory, clarification about Big Bang theory. Okay, or like we can explore any other better life have been existed. We can prove or we can disprove theory of relativity. So more knowledge on the universe and others, or the formation of stars. So we can prove them. We can explore more about the quasars and pulsars. So these are the dying stars or dead stars might be QUASARS, quasars and pulsars. So all these. It is like so these the benefits, goals, all these, it is like it depends on your vocabulary. So how many points you get, how many keywords you will get. So that is why Minds is all about the play of keywords. Okay. So if you have good set of keywords, so like within 1 hour, 1.5 years of preparation, so you can crack. Else it is like you by heart as many facts. So now you got James Webb. So next year you will sit and by heart all about James Webb, and everyone knows that next year James Webb will not be coming. So once the question is asked, UPSC's people, they are not so naive to repeat it again and again. So it is like have the ability how to answer those are questions. So that is more than sufficient. Okay. Then come to next. Okay. What is the basic principle behind vaccine development? How do vaccines work? What approaches were adopted by the Indian vaccine manufacturers to produce COVID-19 vaccines? So friends, we have discussed 2 to 3 classes on vaccines and many questions on vaccinations were in prelims and it is again asked in mains. So if you have a complete command on current affairs, so science tech environment will not be a big problem. So the basic principle behind vaccine development. So finding a pathogen, what kind of pathogen it is, whether it is a bacteria, protozoan, virus, etc. And then making it non-harmful one or might be attenuation of this pathogen so that we will inject it to the human beings, but it will not cause any harm. So attenuating, then injecting it to the people, and now it will trigger the primary response. Okay, so the immunity will be triggered, primary immunity will be triggered. So you can draw this graph also there. So this is primary immunity and this is secondary immunity. So this is vaccination and this is pathogen. So once you are vaccinated, when pathogen comes, your immunity will be boosted so much. Okay. So now, when all these secondary immunity will be triggered, so vaccination will be successful. So now add value to your answer, bring out various types of vaccines that are there. So speak about live attenuated vaccine example, polio vaccine, and second one, conjugate vaccine. So conjugate vaccine. So conjugate vaccine. The best example, measles, rubella vaccine. Okay. So it is like you have one pathogen, but you know that it is harmful. So you bring a pathogen similar to that. Okay. But it is not so harmful. So measles. So this is harmful. Rubella is not so harmful. So we use rubella as a vaccine for measles. So likewise. So there will be one antibody. So a similar pathogen for that. So you will inject. Then we have mRNA vaccine. So derive one mRNA and inject into the body so that mRNA will create pathogen and it will trigger antibodies. We have DNA vector vaccine. So all these are value additions. So just if you drop in their names, DNA vector vaccine. So this mRNA and DNA vector vaccine. So they were asked in prelims 2 years in 2020 and 21, 22, I guess, 21, 22. Okay. So name them so that it will be a value addition. Okay. Then what approaches were adopted by Indian vaccine manufacturers? So we had the Covaxin by Indian manufacturers, CSIR and Bharat Biotech. So don't write Covishield. Covishield was imported a technology, not Indian ones. So in this Covaxin, that is like we took the COVID-19 and we attenuated this. So we removed the spike protein, all of this, and then we injected. So this was very basic, like how the polio vaccine was derived. But here, there were some cases like this vaccine, it used to trigger high fever. And sometimes for some people, so vaccine से अच्छा बीमारी आ जाए, so instead of getting vaccine, the vaccine is giving more severe fever than the pathogen itself. So that was a fear, like अब vaccine कहेगा, or if you take vaccine, you will get high fever. And so many people were aware of this vaccine, and that gave rise to suspicion that taking vaccine itself is causing COVID-19. So, and in one village of Odisha, people, they evacuated or vacated the whole village when the people came to vaccinate them. So that was the fear psychosis, and government also, they didn't try to convince the people that nothing harm is going on in this vaccine. So this vaccine, Covaxin, was in use, and this was the technology. And after that, we came up with various other vaccines by using foreign technologies. We had the Covivax, Corbevax, or maybe so from Sputnik, Pfizer. So we took so many, and we came up with our own Covishield and others. Okay. So you can say, like, whatever the case might be, like, so India was always the pharmaceutical of the third world, and we have exported so much of vaccine. So even sometimes in our cost, so even when our life are being at stake, we gave. So that is to be eulogized or to be welcomed. Okay. Then discuss the global warming and mention its effect on the global climate. Explain the control measures to bring down the level of greenhouse gases which cause global warming in the light of Kyoto Protocol. So again, friends, Kyoto Protocol said that these are set of greenhouse gases and you have to reduce those. But the targets were individual. So the targets were left to the nation. They were not fixed as such to the whole world. So a simple question, first one, describe global warming or discuss that. So give with facts. Okay, so what the IPCC report says, so like already we are heading to 1.5 degrees Celsius of rise. Even if we follow or if we meet all the INDC targets. Okay. So if we don't meet this, so then we will go more than 3 degrees Celsius. And say that year 2022 is the fifth hottest year on record throughout the history of Earth. So fifth hottest, and maybe 2016 the hottest one. Okay. So this will show that our greenhouse gases are increasing and global warming is increasing. So when you are asked to discuss with facts. Don't just say that global warming is increasing or warming, all those things. Then effects of global warming on climate change. So there are so many. First, the sea level rise, rising of sea level. So Jakarta, then Bhasan Char Islands. So Jakarta Island, Indonesia, Bhasan Char, Bangladesh. So all these islands are being submerged. So they are drowning because of sea level rise. Second one, so as and when the sea level rises, so then the coastal erosion occurs. Coastal erosion, plus so coastal people will be hurt. Then melting of glaciers will occur. Glaciers due to the albedo effect. So albedo will not be there. So once you heat, the ice will melt, and that will create more heat. So the melting of glaciers, and this will lead to further sea level rise. Melting of glaciers will lead to further sea level rise, and also like as and when the overall atmosphere heats, the moisture carrying capacity of atmosphere increases, and due to that, so if the atmosphere is moist and hot, the stress level of organisms will increase. So we won't get sleep properly if we are sweating too much. So human beings will roll across the bed. Elephants, their stress level will increase. So why elephants, they are attacking their mahots? So elephant trainers, elephant riders, they are frequently attacked nowadays. That is also linked to global warming. So it is like, so due to sweaty, they can't tolerate, and they start attacking the man who is indirectly the reason for the sweat. So likewise. So overall, the stress level of animals are being increasing. So man-animal conflict or animal-animal conflict will increase after this. And if the overall moisture is increasing in the atmosphere, so there can be sudden rainfall, cloud bursts. So climate change will be there. So sudden recurring of rainfall, denudation, floods, and sometimes sudden drought, all of them. Okay, so predictability will decrease. And then, so how to bring down? So here, like Kyoto Protocol has said that there are so many greenhouse gases, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, then methane. So all those things, they have to be brought down. Okay, so I have brought the list of gases which were stipulated by the Kyoto Protocol. Okay, so all these gases, so friends, here this you have to read. So because Kyoto Protocol is very much in use, you cannot take this as a bouncer question. You have to write all these and you have to get full marks here. So this is bare minimum. So UPSC expects from students. Then, so this is optional. Like, so some nations they have not met the target. Some they have met over and above the target. So this one you need not by heart them. Just say that. So in the Kyoto Protocol, so this was the case, and Doha amendment to Kyoto Protocol is going on, and might be the INDCs of Paris Summit have come again. So we will see like, so somewhere around in the future, we will control the global warming within 1.5 degrees Celsius. It was discussed in your Glasgow Summit. Okay, so by that you can conclude, give the best. Then explain the causes and effects of coastal erosion in India. What are the available coastal management techniques for combating the hazards? So here, avoid natural causes, so wherein gradually coastal erosion occurs. So don't go to too much of geography here. This is a disaster management question. So make sure here coastal erosion, give example of the West Bengal coasts. Most of them are being eroded. So due to destruction of mangroves and others. And so start with the causes. So friends, here the questions are direct. So you can write in mind maps also. You can write this answer with mind maps. So causes, you can draw so many things. So one is rising sea level will be the destruction of vegetation, destruction of mangroves, destruction of coral reefs. So all of them you can write it here. Then the building of check dams and excessive construction of dams in the catchment areas. So when you construct a dam in a catchment area, so sediments will not flow down the river and these sediments will not be deposited on the coast. So when there is less sedimentation, the emergence of the coasts or the emerging of the coast will not take place. We know that our western coast is submerging, eastern coast is emerging. Why it is emerging? Because rivers like Godavari, Krishna, Ganga, Brahmaputra, they go and leave the sediments. Now you are not leaving the sediments to go, so that emergence, so that will reduce. So that is also one of the causes. The building of dams in the catchment areas. Okay. And here you can write one cause of natural cause, anything. Okay. So naturally some coast can be submerged. And then, so what are the effects of this? The effects, it hurts the life and livelihood of people, or might be it hurts the biodiversity of that area, or it might be like frequent recurring of cyclones, frequent recurring of the tsunamis, etc. So if there is a proper vegetation, a coast, so then it can block the cyclonic winds, it can block the tsunami waves, all those. So now the coast will be very much open or vulnerable to all these disasters. Okay, so and there are so many the animal husbandry going on in the coastal areas. Might be husbanding of corals, husbanding of polyps, or might be husbanding of fishes, etc. So that will be hurt if there is no coast at all. Okay, so a number of effects coastal erosion can occur. And now, what are the available coastal management techniques? So one example is like in West Bengal. So the construction of sandbag walls. So with the help of sandbag, here walls are constructed so that the sediment will not cross this area. Okay, and this sandbag will also make sure that the after high tide, when the low tide goes, it will not take whatever sediment left. So that you can say, or this is called the groine, Groyne, or groins. So some wall-like construction. So if you go to Chennai, Rameshwaram and all, you can see these constructions, and these are the synthetic tubes. So like if the water comes here, the water is allowed to flow this way and enters sea at one area. It will not flood in all areas. So we can have such bunds being constructed, or we can have excessive construction of mangroves or coral reefs can be constructed, especially your fringe and barrier reefs we can construct. But the problem is it is difficult to construct the coral. It requires more of fresh water. Mangroves, anyway, we can construct there. Or maybe any other natural barrages if the community is taking up, you can write there. Okay. So our coastal management zones, coastal regulation areas, so all these have been taking up all these things to add government schemes in all these and make a beautiful answer. Okay, so these are some of the questions which were in science tech environment. Not so difficult. Only thing is that how importance you give to science and tech. So I have seen like when a foundation course starts. So by the time the polity finishes, half of the crowd will leave preparation. By the time history finishes, second half, and maybe by the time science and tech comes, so only 10% of the crowd will be there. And for those 10%, the question will not be difficult, but for others, it will be difficult. So next time again, so your fear psychosis starts. So science and tech nahi hota. Science and tech is difficult. So it is all about how much interest you give, so how you build the basics and how you study. And science is the easiest one to study because here nothing is to by heart. It is all about understanding the concept. Okay. So I again give a clarion call. Negligence is a sin in UPSC. So make sure you give equal importance to all the subjects. So do well next time. All the very best. Good luck, friends.